Hello and welcome back to another edition of She's the Boss Female Entrepreneur Stories, where I interview phenomenal women at all different stages of their entrepreneurial journey to inspire, motivate, empower, uplift, educate and inform you on your entrepreneurial journey. If you haven't already done so, please make sure that you click that subscribe button so that you're first to know when I release a new video. Today I'm joined by Aminah Michelle, who is a very, very successful entrepreneur. Aminah, thank you so much for joining me today. And I've introduced you as an entrepreneur. Please explain how you've come to have that title. So you have multiple businesses. Tell us about the different businesses that you run.
So first of all, thank you, Daniela, for inviting me and having me here. It's an absolute privilege. I've watched your journey and I think it's amazing. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Why I think like recognizes like. I think you're awesome and I think you're amazingly successful. And it's nice to have that mutual thing with other people. But where I started with my entrepreneurial journey was I started doing hair. So something I could do, did that from home. I've even done your hair, haven't I? I've done hair. Then I lost my way in a sense. I started a network marketing business, which was amazing, gave me a really massive foot up into my personal development journey, which then parlayed into me starting a goals coaching business where I work with women one-to-one and group to one on setting their goals, making a plan and making it happen. So what I do with that is I help someone connect with the goals they absolutely want, help them make a plan. Usually it's over 12 months. And then I'm the accountability buddy that says, come on, you can do this. I've also added to the list of things that I do. I'm also a singer, so I joined a choir. I'm doing that professionally. And I organise events, I host events, and I'm a speaker at events. So those are a few of the things that I do amongst being a mom, because that's my first job.
And an author, you missed that bit. You've written.
Oh yes, I became an author this year. Yes, I did.
Yes, well done.
Thank you.
So had you growing up always had kind of aspirations of being an entrepreneur, or was it something that developed out of necessity at a later date in your life?
So no, being an entrepreneur wasn't something that I dreamt about or thought about. It wasn't. I didn't feel like it was an option. I didn't see it as a viable option. I didn't see it as something that I could do or wanted to do. Although, if I can add, my granddad was an entrepreneur, and to be honest, they didn't say entrepreneur then, but he had several businesses. He was a butcher, driving instructor, what do you call it, a landlord. He had several businesses, and when I moved into my entrepreneur journey, I was like, oh my God, I'm just like my granddad, which was great because I really admire him. He's amazing. So my entrepreneur journey came out of necessity. After having my children, I suffered badly both times with postnatal depression. First time I shopped it away. Oh, love a selfish shopping spree. But then the second time around, I actually lost my job. So when I lost my job, it almost like a voice inside me, God said, okay, now you've got a chance. I've wanted you to do this. This is what you're capable of. This is what you should do. Let's do this. So I started a network marketing business, which I absolutely loved. I think the environment in network marketing business means you can get nurtured and you can be coached and you can have the support. And I think that is exactly what I needed at that time. Moving on from that, I realized that I had blocks in my own development with my business. It wasn't growing the way everyone else's was, and it wasn't doing what everyone else's was. And I thought there's something wrong with me. So I moved away a little bit, did a bit of research into why these blocks were happening. And then when I realized that I just had forgotten how to ask, kind of thing, I realized there's got to be someone else that feels like that as well. So that was where my goals coaching business was born out of a struggle that I had. I finally found an answer and realized that other people need the same answer.
And I'm going to ask the question. There's a lot of kind of negativity around the idea of network marketing and multi-level marketing and those kind of things, and people seeing them as not necessarily a business. What would you say to people that think that? Because obviously it really helped you.
Well, I mean, there was one point that I totally agreed with that. At one point, I was like, oh my God, like, what is this? And a lot of the quote that a lot of people in the business are, oh, it's just selling soap to your friends. And as much as it is kind of that, it means that you can have a business within a business with all the support. So what I've realized now is, because I've built up a really good support network in my solo business that I'm in right now, I have created the support that I needed. But if someone hasn't had the training to build those connections and network, then it can be harder. What I found, and the positives I've found with network marketing, is that you haven't got to create a product. You don't have to rework the wheel. They tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, and what works. And you get to find a niche that works for you, especially if you're working with a big company with, say, a big product range or a big range of services. You can pick something that works well with you. So I found that my niche in it worked well. And I mean, up to this point, I'm still connected to my network marketing business. I don't think I'll ever let that go, because I made so many friends, so many connections. I learned so much. Had I not gone through that journey, had I not had a network marketing business, I wouldn't be in the business I'm in right now. I wouldn't be the person I am right now. I wouldn't be the parent I am right now. I learned so much. And I think if someone goes into this journey with a "what can this do for me" attitude, you'll walk away richer, 100%.
I love that, because I've never really considered it as like a stepping stone or like a development process for you launching your own solo business. That's a really great way of viewing it. So thank you for that. So you went through that process, and then you decided, actually, I'm going to launch my goal setting business. What was the process that kind of you followed to launch that business?
I got myself a coach. I worked with someone called Michelle Stonehill. She actually built a very successful business in the network marketing business that I was in, so I'd known of her. She then had a spin-off business in her passion. I worked with her closely, which was the most phenomenal experience I've ever had. And she's just the most giving person. And I feel like I learned how to give more. I feel like in the entrepreneur journey, you almost like keeping everything to yourself, and I can't tell people this. And people have this attitude where you've got to hold everything together. And literally, she gives you all of the gold. And I mean, you can find her on Facebook, Michelle Stonehill, and you can follow her teachings. I still do. I still listen to her all the time. And I was part of her tutorship. I can't remember what it's called now. But being in that place and being nurtured by her and speaking to someone that I knew has made a success of their own business was a really great stepping stone. So one, it was a massive investment in myself, which I don't think I'd ever done before. So handing over that money was a bit, I don't know, my heart stopped. But being able to do it, actually realize that I'm showing myself that I have value. So a lot of me paying for my coaching was saying to me, I am worth spending this amount of money for my development. And it was an investment, yes, in the coaching, and yes, in Michelle helping me and coaching me, but it was an investment in me, and me physically investing in myself. That did amazing things for my mindset. So that actually gave me the belief that actually I can do this. If I can overcome the hurdle of thinking I'm not good enough and thinking I'm not worthy of that, then that's where my business goes. I am then that key to unlocking another woman. You are so totally worth it. So for me, the passion behind it is a woman's worth, a woman's investment in herself. And the reason why I do it over and over and over, and I work with women over and over and over, is because I had to go through that journey too. I had to unlock those things. I had to find the keys in these other people to unlock these things. The other thing that I did to move over into my coaching business was read a lot. Like, I read about 73 books last year just to unlock the things that I thought were fixed in my mind. And I've had such a mind shift that the wealth of knowledge within me right now is just literally coming out everywhere. Like, anyone I speak to, there is not a book or piece of wisdom wasted when I have a conversation, and I literally light up a room. Someone said to me today that my personality is delicious. I went, wow. And I think, I mean, that was a nice compliment, but I feel like we don't always have to say. We can just really transform the environment we're in, and I think we've all got that power.
Mm-hmm.
So did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it did. I love there's two points that you made that I love. Number one is this idea of investing in self. And obviously I do coaching, I do mentoring, I do consultancy,
Yeah.
etc. And a lot of the time people will go out and pay money for a car, they'll go and spend money on clothes, they'll spend money on holidays, they'll spend money on getting their hair, their makeup, their nails done. But when you say to certain people, invest in yourself, so not your physicality, but you moving forward and progressing towards your goals, and I can help you do that. Some people, and it's suddenly a problem to hand over that money. And the way you've articulated it, and I love that you invest in yourself because you're worth it. And obviously it's made a huge difference and an impact on you.
Absolutely.
So I cannot stress enough how important it is to go out and get that support. And especially if you're someone that's sitting and you've had these dreams and goals for a long time and not doing it, maybe it's because you just need somebody to help you, and therefore you need to
Of
pay.
course.
And the second thing, reading, I'm see all my books behind me. I'm a huge proponent of reading. I think it's very important. I did 100 books in a year a couple of years ago, and again,
oh my gosh, well done.
Yeah, it was hard work, and I don't think I actually hit the 100, but that was the plan. But I think, in terms of what you're saying, having mindset shift, having that knowledge is so useful. What would you say is the most pivotal book or seminal book out of the books that you read?
Oh, now you're asking. No, there isn't just one book. I was talking to someone today and I said that we can't walk this journey by ourselves, and several people need to hold our hands on the way. And this is the way I see my books. Someone said to me one time, you can't pay for Tony Robbins to come to your house because it's a lot of money. You can't pay for Jim Rohn to come back to life, like he's amazing, or Les Brown to come to your house. But they have put their wisdom in a book that you can access. And I think, to be honest, the author I go back to a lot is Les Brown and Jim Rohn. They're my favorites. Mm-hmm. But on a female author, I love Denise Duffield Thomas. I love all of her books. She's got Lucky Bitch, Get Rich Lucky Bitch, and Chillpreneur. And don't let the title put you off. She's amazing. A few authors, well, actually, the book I've just finished is Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo. I'm about to read it again. It's brilliant. But like I said, there's not one book for me. I feel like there's several people that are going to take me on this journey and hold my hand on the way. And I just have to know when to switch hands. And that doesn't mean I'm dropping people. It just means that some books will take you to a place and then you'll be able to ask the questions for the next book to take you to the next place. So I wouldn't get stuck in one space. I would find another book for another season, another question, another place, another journey you're trying to take, another destination you're trying to get to. There's a book you can reread, there's a book you can read, and the book you can review, and there is one for everybody. And if anyone was ever to come to me and say, oh, this is what I'm going for, I promise you I'd have a book for that.
My problem is I don't ever remember everything. So there's so many books that I've read, and I will say to myself, oh, I know there was something in this book about that specific thing, but I cannot for the life of me remember which book it was. So my kind of takeaway from that process is to have a notebook. So when I read books and there's key kind of lessons and themes, I can write them down because I know that my memory can't hold it. So,
well, I would urge you to change that and say the wisdom that you're needed stays. Where you get it from actually doesn't matter, because once you take it in and regurgitate it as your own, it's something else. Yes, a notebook is great. A notebook's great, and take notes. I agree with that. But don't let it put you off because you can't. I'm not saying you, because I know it won't put you off. I can see your books in the background. But some people get put off by that, and people get put off by paper books. And another note I will say is most of my reading I've done via Audible. So I do have a library of my own. I've probably got as much as you in the background, but a lot of my reading I do via listening. And literally it has changed my life. Now I love a paper book. You cannot get me away from them. But when it comes to having children and running a business and doing all the stuff you're trying to do and have your hands in all these pots, that can steer people away from getting the more wisdom. I just decided it wasn't going to be an obstacle for me. So Audible is amazing. And if you haven't got Audible, go and get it. You get your first book for free. So go for it.
It's so funny because I love paper books. And I had a similar issue. I had a baby, and I'm like, right, I can't. There's not enough time to be walking around with the physical paper book. But I always had this thing that I don't like people reading to me. So what I did is I got the Kindle app on my phone because my phone goes everywhere with me, and I was finding that I was able to read much quicker by just flicking through the phone when I'm sitting in the doctor's surgery, when
Yeah.
I'm brushing my teeth, and that was my process. But then, funnily enough, somebody gave me a free Audible, Trevor Noah. So you could, if you recommend, somebody gets a free book or something. So anyway, somebody,
Oh, he's amazing.
yeah, one
Oh
of
my
my friends
gosh, I
sent me
read it.
that, and the book
I
has
read
me
it.
in the car. So I listened to it in the car as I'm on the motorway, like, and I
Listen,
remember laughing, crying, getting angry. And my husband, he doesn't like to read the books. So he's been saying to me, you should try Audible. I'm like, I don't like people reading to me. After that, I was like, actually, this works. I like this. So yeah,
now
no.
don't get me wrong. Like I'm a paper book person. So even with the Marie Forleo book, I actually bought it on Audible first.
Mm-hmm.
Listened to part of it. I thought, and I'm like, I need a physical book of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Ordered it, finished listening to it on Audible, and now I'm going to go through and listen to it again with the physical book.
But that's the
And I
thing,
think
there's
that
options. There's so many different options. You
definitely,
can read the physical book, you
definitely,
can listen to it, but you can also have it on your phone
yeah,
or on your tablet. And I think that there's there's ways and means for everybody to access the information.
definitely to get what needs to happen. I feel like it eliminates people's excuses.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There we go.
You know, people have said, "Oh, I don't like reading." Well, listen then, and
Yeah.
it works. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. So you've obviously mentioned that you're a mother, and I know that you're a mother. How has being a mum impacted your journey? And you've obviously mentioned dealing with postnatal depression and that kind of thing. So how did it impact you there? And how does it impact you now, both positively and, well, it's always going to be positive, but maybe what I'm asking is, in addition to it potentially propelling you forward, is there ways that you think that actually it strengthens you, it's built you up? That's the most
To
long-winded
start,
question. Sorry.
it's all right. To start, I absolutely would not be who I am right now if I didn't have those children.
Mm-hmm.
That's just off the bat. Wouldn't be who I am if I didn't have them. I didn't actually want any kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was not part of the plan. I remember telling my family I was pregnant. They looked at me like I was crazy because I'd spoken against it. So it was one of my theses is, well, I'm never gonna have kids. Like from a young age, never having kids, never doing it. Nah, forget that. Leave me with that. And I mean, I couldn't have been more against it if I'm being honest. And then when I got pregnant, I mean, I was devastated. Their dad was absolutely over the moon. So angry. And he's like, can I tell people? I was like, no, you can't. But anyway, he was absolutely over the moon, and they're daddy's girls. But the struggle I had is because in my mind, I feel for me, and I'm someone that likes to have my ducks in order. Not that that always works out for everybody, but I kind of want my ducks in order. And because I hadn't even considered the fact of having children, I think that's what sent me off the edge, because something wasn't worked out. It wasn't planned. It wasn't, something didn't meet together. And that is what I feel threw me over the edge. That was a really dark time for me. It was hard. You couldn't understand anything I was going through. Actually, I mean, people remind me now of stuff I did. Like, I wouldn't let anyone touch my first daughter. Like, I didn't ask for any help. I didn't accept help. I thought if I accepted help, that made me weak. And so over the years, I've had to learn that these things are just lies that I told myself, that I thought all the strong women around me did it all by themselves, when really they did it together. After losing my job with my second daughter, I'd already joined my network marketing business. So I'd already had some friendships, some people that supported me. And going through that, it was more, this is why I do advocate for MLM and network marketing, because you do build bonds. You can build some really wonderful bonds. And those support systems I absolutely needed. I needed people to tell me that I was capable of stuff and that I could do it, that they'd seen something in me. I needed that. I mean, this is now what I do for others, but I needed someone to speak life into me. I then realized that I actually went through a period of time where I actually wanted to just take my own life. Like, suicide was the way. Like, I pictured myself dying several times a day, and I knew how I was going to go. Like, I pictured where I was going to walk and the car would knock me over, and then I could be out of the way, and I could just get out of this. And then something dropped in my spirit. I was like, well, what's going to happen to the girls if I'm gone? And mate, the control freak in me just popped up again. I was like, huh? I can't control from the other side. Like, I was like, the only way they're going to get the upbringing that I need for them and that I want for them is if I'm doing it. So that was the turning point. I can't remember how old they were. I think maybe my youngest was a few months old. And yeah, I just decided that I had to do something. So I started somewhere. I just had to start somewhere, and it was just bit by bit, decision by decision. And because I've been introduced to the personal development side of network marketing, I then just started reading. I started watching YouTube videos. I went to the events that they had on. I just got a babysitter. I was like, I need to go to this, to the point where actually I was at a network marketing event on Mother's Day, and my daughter took her first few steps, and I missed it. But I was like, do you know what? I was where I needed to be for her in the future. She would never remember that I'm not there. And I was talking to her about it the other day, but I know I was where I needed to be for the woman I needed to be the mother I needed to be to her. And sometimes those decisions are really hard to make, but I had made up and resolved in my mind that I had to give them everything I could possibly give them for them to have a future that they could want. I didn't want them to go through what I'd gone through. I didn't want them to struggle the way I'd struggled. And I wanted them to realize that the sky is the limit. Like, it's past that. They could do whatever they want. I mean, we talk about stuff all the time. So as much as I encourage women, literally everything I speak to other women in speak at these events, and I wrote in my book and all that kind of stuff, literally all that stuff we do at home. We do it at home. We speak positive at home. We pray at home. We speak our dreams into reality at home. We create vision boards at home. We do all of that stuff. We talk everything into existence. And then I remind them, do you remember when you said you were going to do that? Did you do it? Yes. Isn't God good? But you've got to say it. So it may be that some people go to work and they come home and work, they leave work at home and they come home. Like, literally, this is my life. This is my life. And for those girls, it's my responsibility to show them what is capable and what they can be capable of. And they're capable of anything they decide to put their mind to. So they have changed my life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. What a powerful testimony. Like, it's interesting because obviously I'm a mother, and for me, motherhood has been difficult for me. I want to be a good mom, but also I've got this going on over here, and sometimes I feel like me being a mother interrupts what I'm trying to do over here. And the way you've articulated it is just, it's so beautiful that actually, being a mother makes you better at everything, really, because you're doing
everything.
You're doing it for them, and what a powerful testimony. Thank you so much for your honesty and for sharing that. How on a day-to-day basis now, how has your journey, so as being your journey as a mother, but also your journey from childhood to now, how does that impact how you interact with other moms that you coach and other women that you coach?
Like, I like to keep it so real. Like, these moms that bake and look amazing every day, like, I love it and everything, but you can like leave me with that. Don't get me wrong, I got my days, like I look good right now, like I look good now. But mate, the days when I used to wear my pajamas to school run and stuff, mate, those are real days. Like, those are real days. I'm not embarrassed. That's where I was at the time. Do you know what I mean? I had a goal for, I mean, I'm still developing. Like, there's parts about me develop. Like, this year was my year of, I need to wear perfume. Like, you're worth a nice perfume and you wear it every day. Like, I sprayed on some before the video.
You smell gorgeous, darling.
I love it. Like, and it's a Joe Malone orange.
Oh, I love Joe Malone.
Hey, makes me feel amazing. And we've just got to be realistic about where we want to go with this. Like, I'm so real with moms. I'm like, I didn't want kids. Sometimes I don't want my kids. Sometimes I want to lose them. It's just the way it goes. But I love them. And because of that resistance sometimes, like, I can just be real. Like, my daughter says to me, oh, Mum, you're a bit tired, aren't you? I'm like, babe, you're right. I'm tired. I need you guys to go to bed. She's like, I'm going to go to bed. But the thing is, I speak to them, like, as much as I'm honest with other moms, I'm honest with my kids as well. Like, they know they're wanted. They know they're loved. They know they're amazing. They know that Mummy's going to go all out for them. But there's times when Mum needs a rest. Like, I need a minute. And you guys need to go upstairs, entertain yourselves, because I need a minute. And you know what? They listen every time, because we have this mutual respect for each other. Mate, I'm the mum, so don't get it twisted. I'm the mum and I'm the authority, and what I say goes. But I'm raising little humans who are going to interact with other people in the world. So I try and keep it as real as I can. You know, we all have those days where we feel flappy. We all have those days where we feel angry. My daughter's going through it at the minute. I'm like, would you like some time? Because when I'm feeling like this, I feel like I need some time. And I don't want to say something I don't mean or get myself into trouble. What would you think? Yeah, I want some time. You go and have 10 minutes. And then 40 minutes later, she comes back. She's a different person. So for me, when I'm interacting with my kids, when I'm interacting with other parents, I am just keeping it real. Like, there are days we won't get it right. I just say, if I'm alive tomorrow, I get a chance to make this right. That's how I see it. I'm not perfect. And you know, I wouldn't want to be. It'd be unrealistic for my kids to have this mum that's totally perfect. How will they live up to that? But I'm free about my mistakes. I'm free about my downfalls. I'm free about what I don't know. So they can feel free to ask questions. So they don't mind being wrong, that they don't mind feeling like they've got to improve. And this is what life's about. So I'm not into lying to my kids and making them feel like everything's wonderful. And it's not. Because if it's not, it's just not.
Yeah, that's true. I love that. I think sometimes as mums in business in particular, there is this pressure to be perfect and to be doing the baking and doing the painting and doing all the fun stuff, and also running this amazing business and being perfect in that. And sometimes, no, it's true. Sometimes, actually, I'm not in the mood. This is annoying. I don't want to do it. And I think more mums and more, as I suppose they call them, mumpreneurs or whatever you want to call them, need to be a little bit more honest about that, because we all go through it. And some days, actually, I need to get this thing done. So you're going to have to sit in front of the TV and watch The Lion King because Mummy's got work to do. Does that make me a bad mum? No, it means just right now, this is what needs to happen. And once I'm finished my work, we can go and do something. And I think, yeah, more people need to be a bit more honest and open, and they need to be less within society, because mums need to work too. Taking it back to business specific questions. You mentioned before about you're open with the mistakes that you've made. What are some of the mistakes that you have made along the journey that are specific to business, and how have you learned from them?
I'm learning all the time, and some of the mistakes I've probably made is I believed someone else's voice was more important than mine. And that's not to say you can't give other people a place or let their voice be heard, but you've got to remember that your voice is just as important. Your unique contribution can only be given by you. So because I don't want my children to be children that's, you know, I don't know what the word is, passed up for stuff or passed over for not saying what they need to say, I encourage them to speak up. So that's one of the mistakes I've made. I've stayed quiet, or I've gone with the flow so much, and then you blame other people for where you are because, oh, they said that was the right thing to do, and they said that was the thing to do, and actually you relinquished your power. I relinquished my power to somebody else, and then wanted to relinquish the blame to somebody else as well. So how I've overcome that is I've taken complete responsibility for the choices I've made, good or bad, and just realized I can choose to change this. I can choose for this to end this way, or I can choose to end it this way, but I can still choose. And realizing that the power of my voice comes with all the praise, but it also comes with all the consequences and the responsibility, and just being taking that as a whole. And being able to teach my children that is really actually quite beautiful, because if they've done something wrong, I say, what have you done? I mean, the truth can set you free, lies will get you in trouble. So I mean, I very rarely get lying from my children now, because they realize if we just say what it is, we can deal with it. So that was one of my biggest mistakes, was not trusting my own voice. Other mistakes I've probably made, maybe lots of little mistakes. You know, you don't go for an opportunity that you think was yours, or could be for you, and a lot of that is down to the fact that I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to fall. I didn't want to seem like, oh, I'm not anyway. Whether you win the ultimate prize, there's actually a learning to be done and to be gained on the journey. I've actually put myself forward for a solopreneur award with Women Who. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'm actually quite excited with the process and meeting the women that are in that process. And I'll be going to this lunch and dinner thing. And if I win, that'll be amazing. But if I don't, this journey has been really phenomenal so far. Being able to share who I am, share my business, another platform to share it on, and taking that opportunity without thinking, oh, it's an all or nothing. So those are two of the biggest ones. So therefore, these days, I speak a lot more when I need to, and I put myself out there a bit more.
What has been the hardest thing for you about business? Or is there anything that you struggle with?
I think sometimes you think it should be happening faster.
Yeah.
Or it should be happening quicker, or the money should reflect the work you're putting in, or and what I've realized is, like I said, I am connected. I am, what's the word now? You can edit this out.
Okay. I like the natural.
I think my biggest, what was the question again?
What do you find difficult, or what do you struggle with in business?
I think it's just that things aren't happening fast enough.
Yeah.
You think things should happen quicker because other people move quicker, or that person's finding this success there. But I mean, I listen to a lot of things, and one of the things I listened to just yesterday is that some people's businesses do take off and they go into success, but their personal development hasn't moved that far, so actually they can't handle it. So what I feel is happening for me is, and other entrepreneurs that I know I'm growing with, is that business intelligence is growing, so that when you get to the place where you want to be, or that goal, actually everything about you can handle that. So actually that's what keeps me sane. So yeah, I've experienced success, and yes, I feel successful, but I know there's other parts of the journey I'm yet to discover and experience that I know that God is getting me ready for, and that my personal development is getting me ready for. So actually, it's actually quite exciting if you just switch it. I think for me, I'm trying to switch the way I see things now, not necessarily a negative, but how can I see this so that it feels like a positive?
Yeah. No, I think what's interesting though is it's not even just that somebody's personal development might not be moving forward, even if their business. It also could just be you didn't see what was happening to them before. It's like that iceberg picture. Like, you don't know what was going on or what is going on behind the scenes. You don't necessarily know all of the years of toil that they may have put in that you may not have put in as yet. And I think sometimes, we can get lost in the glitz and the glamour. And there's people that their social media presence, if you looked at their social media presence, you'd believe that they were a millionaire, but then I've met them in real life and they're struggling with the same struggles that I'm struggling as not a millionaire. So I think it's an important point. We do often expect that for all the work we put in, we're supposed to have the success or the financial return at the time that we say, but everything happens in the time it's supposed to happen. And I think that's a really important thing for us to remember. And also, I say to people, to a lot of my clients all the time, it's important to see what the competition is doing, but don't let that distract you from what you're doing, because your journey is yours, and what they're doing doesn't really have anything to do with you. And everything that glitters ain't gold, because there's people living
absolutely
social media lifestyles that behind the scenes it doesn't actually exist. So the next question is going to be around your vision and where you're trying to go. What is the kind of eventual goal for Aminah Michelle? Where are you trying to get to? What's the big picture?
I think I've got to the point where I don't know if there's someone I'm trying to get to. Who I'm trying to be is I'm definitely a mum first, which I don't think was ever going to be me. So my development and their development is probably first and foremost, but I know there's other women like me. So my ultimate goal is, one, to be the mother I really want to be, which is hands-on and doing all the stuff that I feel they need. Second is I want to encourage other women to be their best selves, like their best selves, through coaching, events, and speaking. And also I want to author again, so I want to write my own book. And also I sing and I really enjoy that. So one of the goals that I set for myself, so as much as I help people set their goals, I'm like, I've got it. I'm on it with my own goals too. So I've been singing at weddings for the last, I don't know, probably doing it for the last few months. And I've really enjoyed that. Like, it's just like therapy to me. So if I could coach women, speak at events, sing at weddings, and just be the mom I really want to be, that would be an amazing life.
That sounds like an amazing life. I feel like I didn't truly explore one of the answers you gave to the questions earlier, and I think it's an important thing to return to before I start to close up. You said that at one point you was in a place where you was thinking about, how am I going to end this? And I feel like for anybody that's watching that may be going through mental health issues or feeling like there's no hope, how, obviously you mentioned that your daughters helped bring you out of that and having a focus and focusing on them and being there for them. But did you access any other resources? Is there any other resources that you would suggest people to recommend? That you would recommend for other people who may be in a similar place?
At the time that I was going through that, I was also in debt. So I know that contributed to my mental state a lot. And I got a lot of help with Christians Against Poverty, as well as helping me through my debt resolution of Want for a Word. They also had a lot of holistic care that they gave. So they prayed with you. I mean, they offered that, and I said yes every time. They were never pushy with it, but it was something I wasn't doing in my home at the time. I had zero hope in whatever. So that was really nice to have someone come in and put that hope back in my home. That was really nice. So I invited help. I'm not sure what help someone would absolutely need, but tackle whatever it is that you feel you need. So mine was debt at the time, and it just felt like it was swallowing me. I couldn't see a way out. I felt underwater. And then I had mouths to feed and the girls, and it was just so much. It was just all encompassing. It was just so much. So CAP, Christians Against Poverty, were amazing. And I mentioned them in the book. I couldn't be more grateful for the service they provide, which is absolutely free. There's no charge for that help. But if there's any debt resolution companies out there, that's probably the best one I came across. I think I did speak to others, but that one just seemed to fit me really well. And then we built friendships. So friendships are really, I think sometimes people go to medication or doctors and stuff. I think if you engage in friendships, I went to baby clubs and actually met a girl, and we've been best friends ever since. Like, we've been really close friends ever since. So be open, I think, open to a possibility that could be different. We just celebrated her daughter's 10th birthday. My daughter's going to be 10 in December, and we met when they were months old. So that was really beautiful I know, out of that dark place that I was in, for that to be something that comes out of it is really, really nice. And now I've got something to give to the relationship, the friendship, to my goddaughter and all that kind of stuff. Any other thing I would suggest? I think I even stopped going to church. I just isolated myself. So I think maybe getting out of the house, try not to be in the house. I think I sent myself crazy going in the house. So I started going back to church. I started talking to my friends. I started saying yes to dates out to this place or that place with the girls or whoever it was. I let my mum come. She used to wash my dishes. Bless her. Make me dinner, like make me porridge. I wasn't eating. I don't know if you've got family support. Lean into it. Lean into it. My mum wasn't letting me go. My mum wouldn't let me go. I don't think she even understood what I was going through. The other thing was my auntie. My auntie lives in Coventry. She took a day off a week for a year to come and look after my daughter for me. I don't know if I even asked her to do that, but I know that made a massive difference for me. Just having the bit of space, and then also knowing that my daughter was safe with someone that I knew loved her. And I went back to college. I went and did a beauty course. I don't do anything with beauty except look after myself right now, but it just getting out really helped. I went to college and found my voice again. Like, I found my confidence outside of being a mom and outside of the debt and outside of anything else. Like, I found myself and was out around other people. So there was a few things I did do, and then I read and I found quotes, and I was searching for something. And I think I just, you grab at a stone, you grab at a pebble, you grab at a rock, you grab at a hill, and finally, in time, like, I didn't even notice myself climbing myself out of this ditch, but I'm out, and I'm grateful that I'm still alive to tell the tale. I'm grateful that the enemy didn't get one over on me, because I tell you, the lives I've changed right now would never be changed had I not been in a position right now. And people say it to other people, but I've got to say it to myself. You are a powerhouse, Aminah, and if your voice isn't heard in some places, someone will not be free in some place in their life. So I have a responsibility. And I had to get to that, because that can be quite pressurizing at times. But just get out, get help, and be open.
Yes, thank you so much for your honesty. If there's somebody that's watching that wants to start their own business, it's in the early stages of starting their own business, what 3 pieces of advice would you give to them?
And you said it already today, actually, and I'm going to show you. I wrote it down. First of all, be in competition with yourself. So be better tomorrow than you were today. Do more tomorrow than you did today, or different, or something. Be in competition with yourself. Get better. I found that really useful, because sometimes we feel like we compare ourselves to other people, and that's the other thing. Never compare. Instead, celebrate yourself and others on their journey. That helps. When you find someone to celebrate, like, I 100% celebrate you, Daniela. I think you're amazing. And it fills me with so much joy to celebrate you, because you're another woman being a mother, trying to do what you want to do and doing what you're doing. And I want to say, well done to you. It makes you feel good because you're being acknowledged, but it makes me feel good because I'm giving that acknowledgement. So find people, celebrate them, put it on your Insta story, put it on your WhatsApp story, whatever it is. It does make a difference. And the other thing is, never give up on the vision that was given to you. Nobody else is going to be given this vision. Nobody else knows why it's important to do what it is you feel like you need to do. So don't wait for someone else to make this thing happen. You've got to make it happen. And those are my 3 pieces of advice, which are: be in competition with yourself, never compare yourself, celebrate others, and never give up on the vision that was only given to you.
I love those pieces of advice. Obviously, we mentioned earlier that you wrote a book, and I didn't go into it too deeply because there's only a certain amount of time. But if people want to purchase that book, where can they go to get it?
Can I go and get it to show you?
Oh, yeah, if you would like.
Give me 1 second. Back.
Do you want to
ask the question again?
Oh, no, let's just go into it. Let's see.
All right. So the book I was a part of, because it was a book with 20 women published in this book. It was called The Secret Diaries of a Female Entrepreneur. Here it is. And I'm chapter 2. And if you want a copy of the book, you can get it on Kindle and you can get it on Amazon. So Secret Diaries of a Female Entrepreneur, and the main author name is Michelle Stanhill. So if you do find it, that's the right one.
Fabulous. And if people want to find out more about you personally, what platforms can you be found on?
So I'm on Facebook, but primarily I'm on Instagram. So Instagram is at @Iam.Aminah Michelle, and Facebook is Aminah Michelle.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for just being so open and transparent with your journey. I really appreciated it, and I'm sure that there's people that are watching that you're really going to have a big impact on. So thank you so much for that. And those of you who are
Welcome.
watching, listening, share, comment, let us know your thoughts, your feedback. I think this has been a phenomenal conversation, and I would like to hear you guys agree with me and tell me that. So like, share, comment, and if you haven't already done so and you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you click that subscribe button so that you're the first to know when I release a new video. Please get on that and do that. And if you're a woman in business and you would like to be part of the She's the Boss Female Entrepreneur Stories journey, then please get in touch and email me at Daniela at she'sthebossinternational.com.